Do you know that Dave Grohl's in Tenacious D? I didn't know that until today.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's in Tenacious D.
No, I mean the Pick of Destiny.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the band. No, he's the devil.
I didn't know that until today.
Oh, man, I've known that since I was in high school.
I didn't know that. I just heard it on a podcast, and I was like, no way. And I looked it up, I'm like, oh, yeah. It's totally him. Okay.
No, he's like great friends with Jack Black.
I didn't know that. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I would like.
God,
I would love to be friends with Jack Black.
What is that fucking song? What is the?
Which one? The trailer song?
No, the song, like their duel. Like what is it's?
I only think of the. He come to rock the fucking cock. That one.
Yeah. Yeah, when they're doing Beethoven.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
No, I'm trying to like when the devil comes out of the ground and like there's actually like I forget it's a duel that they have. I can't remember the like.
That's like what you're doing right now is like one of the worst things to do on a podcast.
I
ever.
know. That's why I'm like
because there's like someone listening is like.
I know. I'm that person sometimes.
They're like frothing at the mouth. Like
lead us in.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to holiday season.
Jacob has just changed us to a spoken word. Yes, hello.
Jingle bell.
Happy holiday season, everyone.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
What is your favorite Christmas song? Or holiday song, I guess?
I like Jingle Bell Rock.
I like the scary one.
But Jeepers Creepers? No. Jeepers Creepers.
What? As in, I just remember.
They're talking about the one in Gremlins?
Home Alone.
What?
Maybe it's in Gremlins. I can't remember how it goes now. It's really...
Do you see what I see?
No. The song. No, not fucking Frank Sinatra. No, who does that?
I don't know what song you're talking about now.
A lot of people do. That song, the one you were singing.
Yeah, it is the one that you were like.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Anyways.
All right. Yeah, we're off to a fucking start today.
We are today. Thank you for joining us. We are today discussing basically what makes Die Hard a Christmas movie. We're finally doing Die Hard.
Yeah.
The obligatory.
Which is so weird. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
No, it's weird.
Huh.
It seems obligatory, but I've actually never listened to a podcast about Die Hard.
I mean, I guess it's not necessarily like an obligatory podcast to talk about Die Hard. It's more of like the common argument of like your friend group of
is it or is it not?
Or is it not? And we're going to tell you today definitively what it is. Fuck everyone else that has any other ideas. No.
It's going to be a fun little conversation about it.
Yeah, but we're also going to, do our regular kind of review stuff on it. So
give you some info about it.
If you haven't seen Die Hard and you don't know anything about Die Hard, let's talk about Die Hard, which has an 8.2 rating on IMDb.
And I'm just going to say off the bat, this movie is actually, I haven't watched it in years. This movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
This movie is so good.
I forgot how fucking good it was.
Too. I did too. I was like, this movie's fucking dope.
I'm like, oh yeah, it's Die Hard. Of course. It's like one of the,
it's good.
It's one of the best like action movies of all time. But like, I think it was also just rewatching it with the lens, like how
TJ's lens. Yeah.
With what we've been doing. And it's like, yeah, of course. Like I liked it a lot. And like, yeah, it's a great action movie, but I'm like, wow, this is actually a great action movie.
Because even like,
this is kind of like the John Wick of its time in a way. You know how a lot of people really regard John Wick as like really accurate for its but action and whatnot. I mean, obviously this isn't really accurate for its action, but like in its time of like redefining genre stuff and whatnot,
yeah. Well, it's like even like if you look at my notes, they come to an abrupt halt. Oh, because I was just in the movie. Yeah, I was like, I just stopped writing shit down. I was like, and then at one point my partner walked in and she's like, "You having a good time?" And I was like, I realized I was just smiling. I was like, "Yeah, this movie's great." Like, this is just fabulous. I'm really enjoying my time right now.
I'm glad you were rewatching it. You were enjoying it again.
Yeah, I was kind of curious because it was one of those like moms grew up on it kind of thing.
Like last week, you were like, I don't really like Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think also what, in a weird way, what has tainted it is how many there are now.
yeah, and that's fair. And I think that's a big, like, we kind of keep having this cyclical conversation about the first movie and then the sequels ruining it, you know? How, like, what we're talking about with Final Destination, the first one actually not bad for a horror, a horror movie.
Yeah.
But then the sequels kind of spoil it.
Because it's like it's that last 10 minutes of the movie thing.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
I'm thinking of is the most recent one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and
I guess the fourth one isn't.
Live Free or Die Hard is garbage.
The one with Timothy Olyphant?
Yeah. He's a good bad guy, but that movie is not good.
I remember him being a really good bad guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. And his whole, like, plan was really
cool. Yeah. I think the second one's garbage.
On the plane in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. The third one's cool.
The third one's fun, and I think that's because of the banter with Samuel L. Jackson.
If he wasn't in it, it would be a hot piece of garbage.
I haven't even seen the fifth one.
Oh, with his son now?
Is that what it is?
I think it's like taking it's like a Taken thing. Kidnap the daughter, kidnap the wife, kidnap him. Okay.
Jesus. Wow. All right, let's get back on the Die Hard here. 8.2 on IMDb. It's got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and also audience score in Rotten Tomatoes, and a 72% on Metacritic.
Yeah, Metacritic 10 positive, 4 mixed, 0 negative.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This movie was premiered July 12th, 1988, and then it
general release the 20th.
The 20th, and there was a limited release on the 15th. I saw as well.
Yeah, there was a limited release.
Yeah,
and I was just like the two main ones. It premiered the 12th, and then fully released on the 20th.
And this movie's
30 years old.
Yeah,
holy shit,
it's more than 30.
I know, but I just I'm like, it's 32. It's just I don't know. Just looking at him too, I'm like, whoa,
he looks really good in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
he looks
30.
He looks pretty good now.
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of want to. It's like I want to tell my Tommy synopsis, but it's also like that also feels redundant.
Why? Because we all know what
I feel like majority of people know what Die Hard is.
I mean, for those that don't out there, but really, before you get into it, let's. You want to talk about box office, or not want to worry about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just so people know.
I mean, it was number 7 in box office
worldwide. Yeah,
and well, I mean. So, like we've talked about, like when we go back in time, like this far back in time, the domestic and the worldwide is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's like
because there's just I don't know if there wasn't as much media being sent across seas from foreign, or if there was just like a lack of keeping track of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that too, but it's also like I mean if you're thinking about like especially the 80s and 90s, just how much America was pumping out shit.
Yeah.
Like they were dominating the movie circuit for a very long time.
What's actually really funny is last year we did Scrooged during this block, and Scrooged came out this year, 1988.
Funny, I guess I just didn't look. I was trying to figure out if we did 1988, but I guess I just didn't look far back enough.
It was just I saw it's number 13 of the year for box office. I was like, oh, we did do this, but I was also looking at the box office this year, and I just kind of wanted to it was really interesting to see this is a good example of the name of somebody carrying how the release of it and whatnot, or the marketing, because looking at the number 1 movie of this year was Rain Man, Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, huge actors.
I thought Who Framed Roger Rabbit was first.
No, I'm looking at domestic. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, but then even so, that just switched by a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's number 1. Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Robert Zemeckis is one of the biggest directors because of Back to the Future.
But yeah, you had Rain Man coming to America.
Eddie Murphy,
Big, Tom Hanks, Twins,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, Crocodile Dundee. I don't really get.
I've never seen it, so I don't have an opinion.
I can't remember Paul something.
Yeah,
but also Crocodile Dundee is I don't know. I never really got.
You never got it.
Got it. Yeah. Maybe now I need to watch it as an older. But then it's right there. You see the top 5 and 5 of the probably biggest stars of the world right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or in America, especially.
Well, I was at this time in America.
Yeah, at this time, and then Die Hard with Bruce Willis, who was a nobody,
which is
for movies.
Yeah, which is crazy to think. I really want to watch his sitcom. Just so you all know, this is the movie that projected him into stardom,
into the action star that we all know Bruce Willis
that we all know and love, I guess. But yeah, he was in an 80s romantic sitcom called Moonlighting, which I really, really want to watch. And he was also the spokesperson for
Oh, the
Smirnoff Ice or some shit.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But
he wasn't
like
looked as a very masculine dude at this time.
No, he was a pretty boy.
And toxic masculinity was fucking rampant at this time.
Yeah.
But yeah. I had another thought that I was gonna say on all of that, and I don't remember.
Well, we can go to budget. It was a budget of $28 million, and then made about $139 million in total worldwide.
Yeah.
So this made some.
Oh yeah, no, it was a surprise box office hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you go into your synopsis?
A New York cop visiting his estranged wife in LA finds himself stuck in the middle of a terrorist/robber heist. I only bring up the terrorist/robber thing because they really went back and forth with that.
I mean, it's more of the police that are kind of like calling them terrorists, and
I know, but even like behind the scenes, like the director didn't want to make the movie because he didn't want to do a terrorist movie, but then the entire movie they keep calling them terrorists,
except for themselves.
Yeah, it was just
because
confusing.
they're it's actually like really like looking at like the villains of this movie. It's an ingenious plan, you know, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But it's like to pose as a terrorist group, but just to be robbers, like. A little insane, but kind of like
they almost got away with it too. If it wasn't for that goddamn cop and his goddamn guns.
I have a machine gun now. Ho ho ho! Oh, now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho!
That was badass. Yeah, right. That was so cool.
Right.
I mean, I guess, and it's just also like another crazy thing too. This movie shot Alan Rickman also into the limelight.
Yeah, because he hadn't been in any fucking.
He was a theater actor. And
he had done a lot of British television. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he was more like Broadway and British.
God, he's so young in it, too.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go into directing and writing and whatnot.
Who we've talked about before.
Yeah, we've talked about the director.
John McTiernan. Who I loved. Oh, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we watched the Netflix movies that made us as well.
Yeah, we watched after. Did you watch it after?
Yep.
Yeah, I watched it this morning. I love him. He's just the most grumpy cat living. Like he's just.
This is also a John McTiernan that was already destroyed because of Last Action Hero. Because remember, like the story of like Last Action Hero, so John McTiernan, who directed Last Action Hero, which we talked about not too long ago, actually.
Yeah, actually. Not long ago at all.
He directed, and then Predator, Hunt for Red October, 13th Warrior. We've kind of already gone through a lot of this stuff with John McTiernan. I feel like we're going to get to a point now where we're like, we've already talked about this director.
If you want to know about him, go listen to that episode.
But yeah, no, it was interesting to see that interview with him in the Netflix series, Movies That Made Us, which is it's the first season that they did Die Hard. And yeah, he's kind of a grumpy curmudgeon type character, but like very honest. Like you can tell that he's a man. He really knows his craft.
Well, like know? Also he kind of got to this like DGAF. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like the ambulance thing. He's like, I don't care. Like I really just don't care.
No, exactly. Which I mean, I've been on projects at that point where like you're so far into it and it's such a huge oversight that you're like, there's
nothing to do.
There's nothing to do about it. So like, if the audience has something to fucking say, come at me. But yeah, and they chose John McTiernan. John McTiernan also didn't really want to do this. He like apparently like he turned it down.
Yeah, he was berated by a producer over and over and over and over and over again.
Because he didn't want to do a movie about terrorists.
Yeah, what was it?
He's like, terrorists aren't fun.
Yeah, it was something that was like too intense. And too like
he felt like the script was too dark.
Yeah,
in a big way. Which we'll talk about that with going into the writers. So this was originally a book, which I
did not know. Isn't that so much fun? When you finally remember when we did Sahara, we're like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, and also that was a great rabbit hole to go down with.
Oh yeah, too. By the way, just to clarify too, Sahara's we have that recorded that is not released.
That's one of our test episodes.
It's like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the Tommy Jacob cut. Release that one day. For shits and giggles.
Yeah, figuring out what our model was gonna look like. But it was a fun talk. That's for damn sure. But yeah, no. So this was originally written by a man called. What was the name of the movie or the book? I have it. Where
Nothing Lasts Forever.
Yes, Nothing Lasts Forever.
By Roderick Thorpe. Do you already say his name?
Roderick.
Yeah.
Roderick Thorpe. I did not say his name yet. Okay. Who was a novelist. He was a private detective.
Yeah, he was actually sounded like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, and he also he was a professor for literature for a short period of time. Is the predecessor, that's for 4, right?
The predecessor
of the book Nothing Lasts Forever is a book called The Detective, which was turned into a movie in 1968.
2 years after it was written.
Yeah, starring Frank Sinatra.
Good old Blue Eyes.
Yeah. And actually, I kind of want to go. I want to watch that movie.
Really? I don't remember Frank Sinatra being a very good actor.
Well, I mean, but it's also I want to see it because it's an older Frank.
That is true.
It's I wonder how and also it's Frank trying to be a serious actor, so it could be
so it could be, yeah, but also in a weird way, Die Hard is a sequel, not sequel.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
Well, I mean, it's not a sequel, but also that's funny is the producers when he asked the person to write this movie, they're like, yeah, we're not going to call it Nothing Lasts Forever. We're going to call it Die Hard, which is okay, where did you come up with this?
Yeah. Should we tell them about the contract?
Which one?
So the detective, when they finally started writing this, they were contractually obligated to offer the part to 73, I think, 73-year-old Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So that means in some parallel universe, Die Hard is starring Frank Sinatra at 70, which
Dan Harmon, get on it.
But I can't, and he said no because he was basically I'm old and I'm
rich. He probably chuckled to himself.
Yeah, no,
because he probably forgot that it was part of the contract.
Actually, that's a good point.
It's probably
you mean that movie I starred in 30 years ago? Oh, the sequel? No, I'm good.
He probably was I appreciate the gesture.
But I just think that's the funniest thing about this movie is that Frank Sinatra was offered the part of John McClane.
Yeah. So I read I have the plot of that book, and it's strangely reading it on Wikipedia. I'm not going to read it because it's not too long, but reading the plot of the book on Wikipedia, you're like, oh yeah, this is Die Hard.
Oh really?
Yeah, you're kind of but you're this is Die Hard, but not. I'll just read a quick little. I'll just read the beginning of it. Retired NYPD detective Joe Leland is visiting the 40-story office headquarters of the Klaxon Oil Corporation in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve, where his daughter, Stephanie Leland Gennaro, works. While he is waiting for his daughter's Christmas party to end, a group of German Autumn-era terrorists take over the skyscraper. It's kind of starting to sound familiar right there, isn't it?
I just think if Frank Sinatra was casted, they just would have followed it.
Well, this is actually my favorite. The favorite is barefoot. In the book, he is barefoot as well. I'm like, oh, cool. Leland slips away and manages to remain undetected in the gigantic office complex. I just like the fact that he's barefoot. The book, they kept that from the
This actually sounds like a pretty cool read.
It could be, yeah, but it's a thriller novel,
a little more cat and mousey.
Well, I mean, there's a big thing to remember is, and we'll get into that with the writers in just a second, is the humor that Bruce Willis has in the movie was 100% added and is not part of the original script or the original book. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's kind of the things that makes Die Hard very special is the sarcasm, the humor that Bruce Willis brings to it. Otherwise, you don't have that, and then it's just a very intense, like
cat and mouse kind of thing, yeah.
And then just really quick, the most famous, this is some of the most famous action sequences taken from the book into it, where crawling through the air ducts is actually in the book. Dropping C4 down an elevator shaft
in the book.
The exploding roof and jumping off of it. In the book. And taping the gun to his back at the climax is in the book.
Interesting.
So, literally, some of the most iconic scenes of the movie were in the book. So,
well, wonder what the author thought of it. I actually didn't think to look that up.
I don't know. He passed away in the late 90s.
99.
Yeah. I mean, he probably, I would assume he liked it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty good, from what I was reading of the plot, pretty good adaptation of it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like someone's art, you know, they might get a little touchy-feely.
I mean, how Stephen King was with The Shining.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to look that up later.
Oh, okay, so let's actually talk about the screenplay writers then.
Okay. So the first one that got the project was a man named Jeb Stewart.
Yes.
Known for The Fugitive. He's doing a like a spin-off of Vikings, which I'm kind of stoked
Valhalla.
about. Yeah, which I'm stoked about.
Have you watched the show Vikings?
I started it. It's like that and like Black Flag.
I was going to say.
I really get into, but they're almost like...
Can quickly fall out of.
Yeah, because they're almost too intense. And there's too much, like it's like, oh, that's what it is. It's so dense that it's hard to really dive into.
Yeah,
for me,
and
I really like them.
Well, and it starts off way too dense. There's no like
they don't warm me up to it.
That was a very magical thing with Game of Thrones, was that you got introduced first to like the Stark family, and then slowly the Lannisters, and then slowly more, like the world was slowly unfolded for you and around you, and then you're like, before you knew it, you're like, well, I'm in season 3 and I can't stop watching. Yeah,
and I just think that like these kind of shows have always just been like, that's a good way to put it. They're just like, you are in this world now. It's like, okay, slow down.
That's kind of how the Wheel of Time series goes a little bit.
Kind of just like really in your face.
Yeah, but I still think. I mean, I think you're gonna like it. But anyway,
I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I just wanted to give you. I just wanted to like keep
I accidentally showed her the trailer, and then I heard, ooh, I was like, crap.
Okay, so yeah, Jeb Stewart. More of a serious writer. He's really known for like The Fugitive as well. A movie called Leviathan, which I don't know if you've seen.
I have, but very young.
When you were young. Same here. I think that might be a fun one to put on the list.
Okay.
As well, I have another one on here that I forget. Where did I put it?
Another 48 Hours.
No, but I think that's really weird that he's a writer on another 48 Hours, and our next person. So Stewart was then fired, more or less,
because he wasn't funny enough.
I would say replaced. I mean, that's fired, but
I mean, they still gave him a paycheck.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, yeah, because he wrote the bare. He took the book, made the bare bones of the screenplay, and as they said in the documentary, I guess it is a documentary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like he's not a bad writer. It's just they had another vision for it that he couldn't necessarily encapsulate.
And that's the thing is like, I mean, it's always shitty like when someone gets replaced like this, but it's like at the end of the day, we the producer and director need a little more humor in this. You're not delivering, so we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go
somewhere else.
Take it to somebody named Stephen E. De Souza,
who did 48 Hours.
Yeah, who wrote 48 Hours, which I think that's what I find really strange. Is like the funny guy wrote 48 Hours, and then the non-funny guys got credited for the sequel. Like,
yeah,
what? Okay.
But he also did Die Hard 2, Flintstones, Street Fighter, Judge Dredd.
Yeah, Commando.
Lara Croft, Cradle of Life, which I realize I have no idea what happens in that movie. I remember the first one. I do not remember the second one.
Which one? Is that is Daniel Craig in the first one?
Daniel Craig's in the first one.
Okay, then it's Gerard Butler is in the second. Is in that one.
Yep, you're right. There it is. I see him. A young Gerard Butler. Yeah, that's so funny. There's some like they weren't completely leading men yet.
Yeah,
this is kind of on their slow rise.
It was the test waters.
Yeah,
let's put you with a strong leading female
and see how you hold yourself
with her. And
interesting.
Whatnot. Yeah,
that's weird.
Isn't Hollywood strange?
Yeah, it's such a weird animal. I totally forgot he was in that. Still don't know what the plot is, but I remember him in it.
I mean, they're finding the Cradle of Life.
Sure.
Indiana Jones in the Cradle of...
Indiana Jones in the Crystal Cradle of Life.
Indiana Jones and the Lara Croft with the Cradle of what?
Lara Croft has to break him out of a retirement home.
Oh my God, that'd be a fun crossover to see.
Then suddenly Nathan Drake shows up. Tom Holland.
What's up? Hey, guys. We're using we're actors now. Sorry. Do you have anything else to really talk about with the writers?
No, I mean, just that is the reason there are two. And that's actually kind of fun was that we actually having the reason why there were two writers. A lot of the time it's like this weird misty land where you're not sure what happened.
When I was doing the research like through Wikipedia and like trying to like do my deep dive through like articles and whatnot, I couldn't really find much about it.
And that's just usually the case.
Yeah, it was just like Jeb Stewart, and then all of a sudden Steven Souza. I was like, what? Well, why?
Well, because also I mean, this is just me personally, but whenever I realized this time around, when I read those writers' names in my head, I just assume that they wrote it together. I never think about someone replacing somebody.
Oh, really?
You never really see, so and so replaced.
I mean, most of the time, well, I mean, that's why like when we're doing these like IMDb like searches of like writers, when you see that they're like they've worked on the same movies multiple times, that's generally they wrote it together.
But if they haven't had something crossing over, then
it's
they
generally
replaced.
someone's been replaced.
Interesting.
Which is why when you see like when you have like 5 names or something, maybe like a duo. We had that. I think that was Last Action Hero, I want to say, which was also based on a book.
Yeah, I think it was Last Action Hero. There's a lot of writers for Last Action Hero, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, so hey, now we're learning with it as well.
Yeah.
You want to go into starring, which we've kind of already talked about?
Yeah, just really. Yeah, so we did Bruce Willis.
I mean, if you don't know who Bruce Willis is,
Fifth Element. I always like to do the ones that we did episodes on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only. Actually, when I was like, "Have we done a Bruce Willis movie?" and and then as soon as I saw Fifth Element, I was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah, totally."
But also, yeah, Moonlighting, like we talked about. He's got 185 acting credits.
This dude's in a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's got actually. I think I saw like 10 in like pre-production to post-production.
What's your favorite
Bruce Willis film?
Yeah,
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah,
I think mine's either Death Becomes Her or Red.
That's fair.
But I kind of like, and I don't know. This is just a quick little side tangent. I kind of feel like he got kind of lazy as he got older.
He kind of did.
Right? I'm not crazy to think that. Like, Death Becomes Her, I like Red because I like the concept, but it's just like he's just kind of Bruce Willis. But I really like him in Death Becomes Her because he's like the alcoholic, miserable fuck. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just what he just kind of like is just Bruce Willis at a certain point.
Right? Okay. Yeah. He's almost like a comfort. It's like Bruce Willis is going to be Bruce Willis.
Yeah. And I feel like, in a weird way, kind of started like with Friends too.
Because he was like, I remember in his younger, like, his earlier, like 88 beyond, I liked him.
What's interesting to really think about with Bruce Willis is that when you see him as the action star, it's kind of like a one-dimensional character. But as soon as you put him into a comedic role, the character becomes more interesting.
Oh yeah, like Whole 9 Yards.
Whole 9 Yards.
He's great in that.
Red's very strangely comedic. I know I haven't seen it really, but like I know that there's comedy in that movie. I'm thinking also like Death Becomes Her that you were talking about.
Dark humorous. Yeah.
Even like in Pulp Fiction, the strange humor that he has in that, like that character pops. Like he needs like some humor in his character to kind of pop.
That was so weird. You said Pulp Fiction and I heard Burn Notice. I'm like, he's not Burn Notice. I'm like, I don't know how that happened. Some wire got crossed really hard for a second.
Weird wire. That's Bruce Willis, who's the lead of it, obviously. And then Alan Rickman, who plays Hans Gruber. Like most famously known for Harry Potter, really. We haven't done any movie with Alan Rickman yet, have we?
No, because we were gonna do
Galaxy Quest.
He's in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, actually, I think that's...
as the sheriff of Nottingham. I'm like, he's probably a really good sheriff of Nottingham.
It's probably the only good thing about that movie.
Probably.
Well, maybe Morgan Freeman as well, but that's actually one that we need to add to the list.
Mr. Hood.
Jesus Christ. I see you're stealing from the king, Mr. Hood.
This is kind of a fun little tangent too. I was thinking about Alan Rickman and I was just thinking like about him as a person because like I really like miss him actually.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he'd be a really good like Vulcan. And I was like, oh wait, he kind of was. Galaxy Quest.
Like one of your favorite movies with him in it.
I know. I totally was like, oh wait,
and then
Bonnie
Bedelia,
which I didn't actually recognize anything else that she was in.
She's more of like she was more of like a like early 80s, late 70s, like a ingenue type role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like she wasn't even like they originally didn't want her. Like, you remember them talking about that?
Yeah. Bruce Willis was
like, no, she's a fantastic actor. Like, put her in.
Yeah, like I really want her to be in it. Yeah, I remember that.
Because they wanted someone more young and blah blah blah.
Oh, because even in the movies that made us, I can't remember who was saying it, but I think he was the director. Was like we had our list of the hot women at the time like that we were just kind of going through, and then Bruce Willis like stepped up and said no, like I actually really want Bonnie to be in this.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh, okay. And I mean, I was gonna say, I like their chemistry together. I mean, that's only really that one scene kind of in the beginning that they really interact. But I mean, I believe like mom and dad are fighting.
No, that. But then also like you really see like her, like in the scenes with her, like her care and like fear for like John's life.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, even her like interaction with like Hans and everything. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And it's like, looking at just like her quick IMDb like top things, it's Die Hard is like one of the biggest ones, obviously. But then like a movie with Harrison Ford, Presumed Innocent, and then an '83 Heart Like a Wheel.
Oh, that's why I recognize her.
She's also in the '80s series Salem's Lot, like the mini series for Salem's Lot.
With
Salem's Lot.
Yeah. Are there two?
Yeah.
There's the Rob Lowe one, the 90s one, and then there's one before. I never watched the one before.
And then also, where is he? Where'd he go?
Reginald?
Yeah.
Reginald Vell Johnson.
There we go. Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's, other than Die Hard, he is 100% most famous for Family Matters.
Yes.
As Carl Winslow, the father. Carl Winslow. Yes. Strangely, also a cop.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah,
interesting.
I think he probably got the Family Matters role because of Die Hard in a big way.
Well, and also if you look at like his credit names on a lot of his stuff, there's a lot of doctors too.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's a lot of he plays a lot of doctors, like typecasted as a doctor for some reason. I just think the typecasting is so weird. It's like, yeah, I saw you as a cop once. Let's keep hiring him to be a cop, or let's keep hiring him to be a fireman. Or
I mean, that's kind of that's a thing. Like you can get pigeonholed really quickly in Hollywood.
Oh, 100%.
And I mean, especially if you're someone that, I mean, he's great in this movie. He doesn't have the biggest range as an actor. Like just looking at what I've seen him in, he's wonderful, very aware in the moment, but he's really not transformed. He is a very, oh my God, he was really when he talked about his mom.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh God.
I need to go visit my mom.
Reginald, you're pulling out the heartstrings right here. But he bought his mama after the huge success. He bought his mom a house and like a car, and it was just like, oh, you sweet bastard.
Bang. Never die. So I mean, I think that's kind of like covering everybody. I mean, there's a few. Actually, I want to give a quick William Atherton, who's the jackass reporter, because
Peck from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's
well, even in the thing, they're like he was the go-to asshole at the time.
Yeah,
like exactly. We hired him to be a fucking asshole, and he was good at it.
It's like, and even they see. I mean, it's like in the he's like, yeah, I'll do that.
I'll do it. I don't care.
Like, no, that's my job.
Yeah.
like I will forever do it because it's fun. It's really strange, like how this movie has a lot of plot points in it. Actually. Like if you really think about it, like I just kind of stopped writing in my list because this is like follow. I was like I couldn't. There's a lot of moments. But yeah, do you want to go into reviews?
Sure. Let's see. So first one, Peter Bradshaw, The Guardian. Only the hardest of hearts could fit. Oh, and also I like this one because this was written kind of more recently after a reviewing of like a 30th anniversary kind of thing. Peter Bradshaw, The Guardian. Only the hardest of hearts could fail to enjoy the great 80s action classic re-released for its 30th anniversary with uproarious explosions, deafening shootouts, and smart aleck taglines following the bad guys getting shot. Totally agree. I think the deafening shootout thing is funny because Bruce Willis actually ended up getting 2/3 hearing loss from a gun going off too close to his ear.
Really? Like it's like permanent hearing loss? Holy shit.
They're like, what is like, well, he was in like an interview, like, what is like one of your biggest regrets of a film? And he was like, oh, how I got hurt in Die Hard. And and apparently a blank was just a little too close, and he has permanent hearing damage from that. So I was like, I like the deafening shootouts. I was like, I feel like that maybe that was a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
So I was like, what a dick. And then this one I wrote down specifically, it's Roger Ebert again, but Chicago Sun-Times. On a technical level, there's a lot to be said for Die Hard. It's when we get to some of the unnecessary adornments of the script that the movie shoots itself in the foot. And I'm only bringing up that one because specifically, if you go and read his entire like review on it, he has a serious like he gave it 2 stars, and the thing he talks about like the most is what's his butt? Oh, sorry, wrong page.
Gruber or
no, Paul Gleason. He had a very serious problem with Paul Gleason's character in it.
The L.A.
the dick cop that comes in and like is just like undermining everything. He was like he found that to be a huge plot thing because it was just this character to come and be like this naysayer.
I mean, that's not a wrong thing.
No, yeah, and he was just like, I found that whole thing really distracting, and even like the whole like repeating like they're going for the lights. They're going for the lights. It just seemed like he didn't like any of that.
But for that to be the thing that ruins the movie for you.
That was like the main thing. He just could not. He didn't seem like he could stand it. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Coke he was on.
That was interesting. But we are not saying that we think that Roger Ebert was a cokehead. Don't quote that.
I might be saying that.
Okay, he's saying that. Here at TJ's Mixtapes, Jacob's thoughts do not reflect that. But yeah, it was just, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I've never, especially because I mean, I probably, even if I don't read them on here, I always read Ebert's, just his whole thing, just out of curiosity. And that was the first time I've ever seen him just really just one thing, really just, because he was even like from like a technical standpoint, he's like from the special effects and everything. It's great. Like it makes sense. It's an 80s, like it's a shoot 'em up explosion fiesta. Cool.
Yeah.
But it's just having a problem with that one person. And that, well, not even the actor, it's just the character. He was like,
to have that,
fuck that guy.
It's like how does especially such a remedial character in that giant story of everything ruin it for you?
I mean, I kind of get it because I'm like that too. There'll just be like one thing and something, and I can totally turn me off from it.
I mean, maybe, but like I don't know, to give the entire movie a 2-star because of that thing, like I don't know, because like especially with Alan Rickman's performance, but also
but he did he spoke of that, like that being great, but it was just something about this one thing he just couldn't handle.
Whatever. Is that all the reviews you got?
Yeah, because there aren't any negative.
Oh, you just couldn't find any negative. That's right.
Yeah. So there was one good one and one mixed.
So now it comes to the big question: is this a Christmas movie?
Oh, and he wrote it July 15th too, in 1988. Like it was like he'd just seen it. Is this a Christmas movie? I don't think so anymore.
Did you originally going in this to say think it was a Christmas?
Yeah, it was just in my head again from not really watching it in a while. I was like, yeah, it's a Christmas movie, sure.
What makes a Christmas movie? This is what I spent most of my time trying to find. I wanted to find on the internet a definitive
Bruce Willis on his roast said no.
Yeah, I know. Because also of what he talks about what a Christmas movie is.
What does he say?
I can't remember exactly what he said. I couldn't find his quote, which pissed me off as well. But he relates it very much more to It's a Wonderful Life is like a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find in my research, like, okay, what the fuck defines a Christmas movie? And I wanted there to be like a Wikipedia type thing where it could be like articles for me, like going deep dive on, but no, nothing. I got from realtorealmovies.com, and I was just like, okay, just like quick summation, which I think it makes it so fucking broad, but also very like you can like really start to nitpick with it. A film must feature one of the traditional Christmas themes, such as love, hope, generosity, faith, redemption, family, or fear.
Die Hard kind of hits all of those except for generosity.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think the key thing for a Christmas movie is like, and they talk about this in what movies that made us, Elf. Like it has to be about family.
Definitely about family.
Oh fuck, I forgot the other ones. I think how it has to be on Christmas or around Christmas. Okay. with your climax happening like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day type thing.
Yeah, like the fruition of the story happening on the holiday.
Yeah. And then like there was another one, and then like the big one is like at the end of the day, kind of like it has to be a timeless classic.
Yeah, so like on paper, yeah, this sounds like a Christmas movie, but it's like.
But I was thinking like a big thing in for Christmas movies is like I think what really makes a Christmas movie is the Christmas miracle. You know what I mean? Like if you think the 34th, what is a Miracle on 34th Street? Hey, Miracle on 34th Street. You know, it's like the miracles that actually is Santa. You know.
Yeah, Jack Frost's dad coming back as a snowman.
Exactly.
Elf getting the sleigh.
Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life getting a new lease on life because the miracles that he sees what his life would be.
Any rendition of Christmas Carol.
Yeah. You know, it's like there's a miracle at the end of the day that has a switch, like a 180 switch for our main protagonist. From either going from the curmudgeon or from depression to like a new lease on life of happiness and joy and jovial sense type stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's like I guess you could say like the miracle is that with this whole situation, he lives through it and it makes their relationship stronger. But then they ruin that with the sequels because they still end up getting like divorced.
Yeah, well, there wasn't supposed to be a sequel to this movie, but yeah, so it's like. That's what I was thinking. Is like, so if this is a Christmas movie, I mean, it is about family.
Check.
It is a timeless classic, really.
Check.
It like it's at the end of the day, it's like what is the Christmas miracle? Which I thought the movie ended with it snowing, right? Like and it's set in like I like in my mind's eye.
Oh yeah.
But that's because of like all of like the paper falling, like the bonds.
Yeah.
I think when I remember just when I was younger, I think I just remember seeing that and thinking it was snowing, and I wasn't like connecting that it's LA and it can't snow in LA. But then before we were
snow in LA.
When does it snow in LA?
It snowed when my dad was a kid once.
It's a fucking miracle right there. And that's what I was thinking. It's like,
I've never seen it snow there. I mean, you can go to parts of like you can go to like Big Bear,
northern LA,
like Big Bear and snows and stuff.
But that's what I was thinking. It was like if it snows at the end of Die Hard, you know, like that's the Christmas miracle, you know, is like everything. It's a all happy ending for everybody, and then it snows in LA, and you know they right. But I will say like it does have that happy ending of them riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Type thing, which is very much, I mean, that's a romantic comedy type thing, but, you know, like, with it, then you put it on Christmas Day, like, their family is saved. Yeah, that is kind of the Christmas miracle, is that the miracle is that John McClane fucking lives.
Yeah.
So he can...
I mean, I do like that bromance he has with
Al.
With Al, yeah. Reginald.
So good. It's so good. So, I mean, but that's also another thing, is like, if we're putting all of like the idea of like what a Christmas movie is, then some people don't really like that happy-go-lucky, mushy Christmas movie stuff, you know? Like some people it's just not their jam, you know, like A Christmas Story, or even like the romantic comedy. Oh, no, sorry, not A Christmas Story.
I was like, Christmas Story is kind of depressing.
What was the Jimmy Stewart one that I was just saying?
Oh God, I'm totally blanking.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I would agree with that too. Like, I hate Christmas movies, like the ones that come out on fucking Hallmark Channel and shit. Well,
okay, that's a different kind of like Christmas.
Holy shit, that's like. But it's like, but even then,
I'm
like
a strong, independent woman that's figured out life. I don't need no man. But he's just along.
I'm a big city lady that needs to move to the countryside. Oh, look, there's a handsome man wearing a flannel. Like, I just like, fuck off.
Like, he knows how to chop my wood.
But it's like the only Christmas movies I like are kind of like the more depressing ones. Like I like Christmas Story. It kind of depresses me. The Ref. The really dark kind of ones.
Yeah, no, I mean exactly. So like that's where these unconventional Christmas movies have come along. It's like people like putting that stamp on. It's like, no, I want to have a movie that represents my kind of Christmas.
Yeah. My kind of Christmas.
And there's actually a huge. There is a.
I need dysfunction. I need yelling.
There is a list on Wikipedia of Christmas movies, and it goes from like traditional Christmas movies to a list of like action Christmas movies to horror Christmas movies, and it's more or less anything and everything that's happens on a Christmas day.
Yeah,
type thing. So like in all senses of like the idea of a Christmas movie, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? No. But it becomes a Christmas movie for those that want there to be that idea of what their Christmas movie is.
I think that's why this conversation and this debate will never end.
No, exactly.
Because anything you want, and that's not even just for Christmas, any holiday tradition that you can make any holiday tradition a holiday tradition for you.
Yeah. If
you really like Halloween, you can do a Halloween Christmas tree if you wanted to. You could do a spooky.
Well, it's like people like the argument of like Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie or is it a Halloween movie?
It's an in-between movie.
Yeah.
You watch it in between.
It's a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, you watch it. You watch it in November. You watch it in between the two. But I would say
it's like traditionally no, yeah, it's not a Christmas movie, but it is a Christmas movie, like really in a lot of spirit, and like in its way. For those, yeah. I mean, I think that's what like.
I mean, I think you just said like the most well thought out argument I've ever heard for it, because lots of the time it's just two people yelling on either side of the room. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
It's like that meme of like the guys throwing the chairs at each other.
Yeah, or like the cat. The lady yelling at the cat, like, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and then the cat going, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like.
I mean, let's kind of just like do a quick little recap. Quick recap of the movie. This actually, like a lot happens in this movie.
I really, 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 really recommend watching that.
Movies that made us, or just the movie?
The movies that made us. Just like. What this movie did, that's what even like I don't even care about the whole Christmas argument anymore, because just what this movie did for action movies, it's just crazy. And I just never realized like how actually important Die Hard was for American cinematography.
It broke the toxic masculinity idea of like what the action hero needed to be.
Big buff. Yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Chuck Norris,
Burt Reynolds. All of these names, by the way, were all offered.
Yeah,
but none of them. They like, from what they were saying too, is like even a lot of these guys are like the character's a wimp. Mm-hmm. Like he's running around and hiding. There's no crazy like kicking down the door with AKs in both arms going ho 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 motherfucker. Like.
Well, I mean, he does go ho ho ho, just in a different way.
Yeah, but doesn't everybody be chill?
No, but that's the thing that made it like audiences loved about it, was that made John McClane like. Attainable,
an everyday man,
kind
of thing.
It's like, and Bruce Willis, like he wasn't, he's not a big buff dude, but he also, he wasn't.
I thought that was crazy too, because
fit.
It was like he's wearing a tank top the entire time, and he's like a fit dude.
Yeah,
he's not like roided out, but he's not like dad bod, like cracking open a beer. Like,
it's not like you and I running through doing Die Hard,
like. Like he's a fit guy, so I don't understand what but
he's also a pretty guy. He's a pretty boy.
But it's also like
I would never establish. I'd never really thought of Bruce Willis as a pretty boy.
It's because you don't think of him that young. You think of him like now.
Well,
he's handsome, but
he's a handsome dude. But but that's I would call him handsome. I would never think of him as a pretty boy. Mm-hmm. A pretty boy is like Leo.
How many more times do I say pretty boy?
A pretty boy.
Make your daddy talk.
Oh my God.
What's his name? Jeff Dunham. Come here, puppet boy. Make your daddy talk.
Whoa. I'm glad there was actually a connection with that. That was going into a weird area there.
He talks about going to prison and being a ventriloquist.
Yeah. And even just like, his wife, how she like, it's like takes, her, like she's like that character actually has like for like a female character in an action movie, not a lot of screen time, but actual depth.
Well, and like even what like their like what the falling out in their relationship was when he's talking to the limo driver Argyle, and like basically like he's like, you thought she wasn't gonna make it, and she come crawling back, and she like proved you wrong, basically.
Yeah, right? And he's like,
yep, like.
Yep.
Like I doubt, like I'm an asshole and doubted my wife's capabilities. I'm like, yeah, you are an asshole. Like,
yep.
She has every right to be pissed at you.
Actually, I do got to say, like the beginning of this movie, like it, like just naturally, this movie is super well written. The establishment of like the characters and the growth in like the first like 15, 20 minutes before like the robbers show up, Gruber shows up, really solid.
Yeah, like I mean, that's the thing is like, and kind of going back to the Ebert thing too. Everyone is like, it has a nice place in it, except for, but even then when he like,
except for all of the police. But that's kind of the thing is that the police are supposed to be a joke.
Yeah, like even the FBI are all funky and like,
and I wonder if that. I mean, it's not a movie or that when it's being set up that it really seems like that's going to kind of be the thing where the police are just kind of be. The police are the example of the toxic masculinity of the action hero that this movie is redefining. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like this, especially the FBI agents, like when they're in the helicopters, like reminds me of Saigon. You know?
Oh yeah, and he's like, I was in high school. You did, or
I was in junior high. Yeah,
dickhead. Like,
yeah. Like they're kind of like the represent. Like if the Schwarzenegger action commando dude was in the Die Hard situation, he probably would have been killed because Hans Gruber is too fucking smart. Because he would have come in with the machine gun and just all of a sudden like dodge and then just boom, blow off his fucking head. But since McClane is sneaking around and hiding and actually
that's just like the
stealthy.
Thing. Like that's like even when the
Ellis
when Takagi. I was gonna say Takashi. Takagi gets killed and he has that like moment where he runs back into the empty thing and he was like, "Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do something? Because you'd be fucking dead too." Like think.
Exactly.
It's like no, it's like it's. I mean, granted, he does some crazy shit in there, but he's like. He's a cop in a really tricky situation. Yeah. And not an action hero that's not,
He's just a cop. He's not a fucking... And he's not a loose cannon renegade cop.
Yeah, he's just a cop.
He's a cop. He's like, I'm good at my job. Like, he's talking about that. And he's like, I got like 60 fucking perps back in my office.
Not non-closed cases. I can't just walk out on that. Like, I'm working on all of them. Yeah. I mean, I was just really pleasantly blown away, especially with a movie this old. There's always that chance you go back and watch it, and you're like, ooh, I wish they didn't say that.
I mean, the closest thing is when Takagi says something about World War II.
Yeah.
He made a Pearl Harbor joke.
What was it? God, what was it?
Oh, we blew up Pearl Harbor, so I guess we'll just
call it even for something like a tape deck or some shit.
Oh no! And then when we started selling you tape deck, like ripping you off with tape decks or something.
Yeah, something like it was like. Oh, and I just remembered that actor's Hawaiian too.
Yeah.
He's like born in Honolulu, I think. Yeah, actually, I think that's the one. Well, there's that one, and then there's that what you just said, the Vietnam thing, which is also like, ugh. It's two war jokes. Two war jokes too many. But I think that was like the most of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and also actually a really good diverse cast. I mean, I guess like, not too much
majority
white, but like for the 80s, come on, sure. 1988, like you actually have like a supporting character who's black, and then like. Even though Takagi does get killed early on, but even like the terrorist,
what was his name again? Well, even he had a really big career. What was his name again?
While you're looking that up, even like all of the like the robbers, like just all around, like.
Oh, James Shigeta.
Is that his name?
Yeah, I mean, because even him, he was around for.
A minute.
Forever.
Yeah.
But it was also like he was an interesting case. Like I don't want to say case study, but I can't think of the better phrase for it. For just the kind of fluctuating that happened from like the 60s on in film with Asian culture.
Oh, okay.
Like the popularity, like the rise and fall, kind of the waves that would happen with the popularity. Yeah. So he would be in shit for like back and forth for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like viewed as like a weird fad.
Interesting.
Then his career would kind of go into like a quiet place. He really wouldn't do anything, and then there'd be another spike in it.
Well, and especially knowing like Hollywood around that time, it's like they're gonna have like their like 3 to like their handful of like Asian American actors that they're gonna go to for certain things too.
Yeah, it's just I was looking at his career and I was reading about him. It was just a very interesting kind of weird situation for him, of like when he would act and when he wouldn't.
Word. I mean, so this movie,
Hollywood is just weird.
Well, it's fucking ran by power. There's white dudes with money. It's gross.
Power white guy money.
Yeah. I mean, I would like the action in this movie doesn't pick up. I mean, it picks up quickly with it as well. And I just like when Gruber's like team shows up, like it's just like you see just like how super like organized
and prepared
they are.
Yeah.
Which is also that's kind of like one of the like greatest parts for this movie is that it's like Stephen De Souza. I read that he was talking. I was like, when he looked at the script, to make Hans Gruber's character like more interesting, he rewrote it from the perspective as if Hans Gruber was the protagonist, and like if he was to be the hero at the end type thing, and so he's this person who has this like perfectly orchestrated like robbery ready, and then there's John McClane character shows up and is throwing a wrench in it, you know?
Yeah.
So like you see them all show up and it's like boom, security dead, boom, like they have like it's like a well orchestrated like dance almost, you know? It's like a heist. Well, it is heist, you know?
Yeah.
And everything's going smoothly, and then all of a sudden this fucking cop from New York, this voice from nowhere, and this dead body shows up. They're like, what the fuck?
It's almost like depending on how you look at it, it's almost like the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah, right?
for them.
That's probably a movie that already exists, but that would be actually kind of an amusing like horror heist. Like have like the ghosts like being the heroes stopping the heist. They're just like murdering all of the
I thought you were going to be like a Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but like heist wise.
Like, yeah.
But like, so like
only by having the ghosts that have there be actual ghosts.
But like, yeah, but like they're just like trying to rob a bank, and then suddenly they're all getting murdered by like they're the bad guys, but they're like not.
Yeah.
Swear, officer, these college kids just came to my property. Highly recommend watching Tucker and Dale vs. Evil if you've never seen it.
That's a great movie.
That movie's fucking hilarious. If you like violent, dark humor.
It's really, you could really chop up this movie into like, I think, a couple of quick bits, and that's the introduction of McClane as a cop, his wife. Inciting action is Gruber shows up. Hans Gruber. McClane throws off the heist. That's an hour and a half of the movie. McClane throws off the heist.
And then it's a scramble to try and get the heist done.
It's scramble for them to get the heist done. And then McClane throws off the heist more. I'm trying to think like where the next, I guess it would be the revelation of McClane's wife is important. And then,
well, just even that scene when he's like doing the American accent, tricking.
That's
him.
a great scene.
That's really rad.
I'm trying to think of like why exactly after. Is it because the roof blows up and all the hostages are saved? Why does Hans take her hostage?
Because
why does he just want to kill McClane?
I don't know. He sees the picture.
No, I'm trying to think of like what was his motive. Like the motive of the entire thing is just they want to steal the bonds.
I don't know. I think it would be if you want to like try to make it make sense. I'm
just forgetting like what the motive was for him to take her and why he wanted McClane at the end. Was it just he just wanted revenge?
Well, and also you can't get your fucking hands on him, but you have her right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a squirrely little fucker that keeps ducking into the walls.
Yeah. So like is it all just to kill him? Or is it just like to ensure the getaway?
I would think it would just be to kill him because it's like at that point too, like you're pretty much home free. You just need to get the fuck out of there. But he gets caught in a bad guy monologue kind of thing.
He doesn't though.
Yeah,
because doesn't McClane like end everything before the tape? Like everything's like already done with Gruber. Like he can't, like Gruber can't escape. I mean, he doesn't know about the ambulance getting like ran over yet.
Yeah,
but like the bonds are already like blowing out the window at that point, aren't they?
Maybe at that point he's like, fuck it. want to at least kill you. I don't know.
I forget. How do I watched it last night. How am I forgetting this? Anyhow.
I did too, but I mean, I don't know, maybe like it was just so quick paced.
Yeah.
And maybe and it might be also, maybe you're trying to think of a plot point that isn't there.
That's true. I could literally like,
maybe that's what the gap is. Your brain is trying
to. A lot of people do like have arguments that this movie is riddled with plot holes.
Yeah, I would say so, but it's still really fucking enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like going back, like,
but it's weird to think. It's weird to say that because like I one thing that I was really like admiring about it was like how attention to detail they paid on like a lot of little plot things and whatnot with like the picture in her office to Ellis strangely thinking was playing at an angle in a dumb way.
Oh, the cokehead.
Yeah, the cokehead. But like how he literally thought that McClane would have like gone along with it without realizing that how dangerous these guys actually were. You know, like he thought he wasn't like throwing McClane or his wife under the bus, even though we kind of thought that would.
Yeah, they kind of led that was what's going to happen.
Yeah,
he was going to be like, save myself. This is the wife kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but you also have to keep in mind too, with the hiring of the other writer, him writing pages like as they were shooting.
No, exactly. There's gonna be
shit. The fucking ambulance.
Yeah, exactly. The ambulance thing. Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Neither did
until
I.
they pointed it out.
No, right?
I was like, oh shit, how did I miss that?
There's so many little things. Movies, especially in like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, they have a lot of bloopers like that. Well, fucking Game of Thrones just had some of the biggest goddamn bloopers.
Starbucks coffee cups and shit. Yeah,
like there's more than just that. Like that's
just the one that came up the top of my head.
Oh man, I'm literally like my brain just like shut down on where I wanted to go with something. I really can't get back to it.
Okay.
I literally just felt a fog cover my brain. There's like my brain just powered down.
Well, you want to wrap it up? You think it's that time?
That's crazy. This is a short episode for Die Hard.
No, because we didn't do our like usual. We were just trying to answer the question: is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah. Oh, I think I know exactly what I wanted. Was how well everything wraps up like with a little bow at the end.
Oh yeah.
You know,
totally.
Like this ending, like it has a really good, like it buttons really well. I mean, like this movie's just super well written, you know, like because it has like it introduces everybody in a really good establishing way. The inciting action of Gruber coming in, all the little plot points and all the little things that McClane does to kind of like throw off this heist, like all has like repercussions of stuff later on as well.
Yeah.
And like little moments of like Gruber with the American accent and then seeing that McClane is wearing no shoes. And also the McClane wearing no shoes from like the guy on the plane at the beginning of the movie is like, no, take off your socks and shoes, walk around the carpet and make fists with your feet.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's like, fists with your feet, man. Whoa.
I want to try that now.
And to like with the first like robber that he kills, where he takes the gun and the lighter and like he's like in the air duct and like, oh, he's got the lighter to like look for a minute, but then it's also like gives his spot away,
alerting them where he's at.
Yeah, it's like all of these like little things and like, you know, like the amount of times going back up to the roof, like they go. Actually, apparently, this original script was supposed to take place over 3 days.
Yeah, and they wanted it to narrow it down to one night. Well, even like what you're saying too is like even when he is running up and down the stairs, I don't know if you noticed, but he is like saying like 31st floor computers.
Yeah,
like he's mapping it out.
No, exactly.
Like, so he knows where everything is.
The nude picture. He's like, "Hello, girls." Yeah. Like he's like, yeah, he's making like note of his surrounding.
Where to like escape? You know, if they're coming this way, I'll go that way, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wrapped it up in a nice little. It's a perfect little package of an action movie.
Well, then like also just like you get obviously McClane gets his like his end of the story, but then like even like the wife, she gets the punch on the reporter who like brought her kids into it like an asshole. So she gets her little like her final like punch, you know.
Yeah.
Officer Powell gets his moment with killing Carl. Like he's scared, like he's like after like, he tells that tragic story of shooting a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
That hasn't been able to pull his gun.
That's actually that's a sensitive subject for today.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. But like, he takes out Carl, which also Carl coming back. Also, that's in the book too.
Oh, really?
Carl coming back, like, and Powell shooting him as well.
Jeez.
And like, he gets his, like, you know, his redemption arc as well. And then even like the limo driver, he gets his like knockout punch for the guy that's going to drive the ambulance away.
Yeah. Everyone has their moment.
Yeah. Everyone gets, it's like every, the security or the FBI are dead because the helicopter exploded. So we don't need to worry about them. I can't remember if I think like Roger Ebert, who was Roger Ebert's hated character.
Gleason.
Yeah. Gleason's character. Which also, you guys would recognize Paul Gleason from Breakfast Club, as the principal.
Whatever.
Does he? I'm trying to think if he has like a little button as well, but I can't remember.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, no, it's just like. Also, it is kind of like this. The ending is a very like testament to it being like an '80s like action flick still, because McClane and what's his wife's name? Gennaro. What's her? Shirley. What's her first name?
Holly.
Thank. Oh yeah, because like deck the holly, deck the hollies. Jeez. Anywho,
deck the halls
with bottles of holly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what is the lyric?
Yeah. Like, oh fuck, where was I?
What is going on with you?
Dude, I'm just like, my brain's just racing too much. Oh yeah, they're just like, she's got like a police coat on her and he's got like a fireman's coat on her. They're not going to an ambulance to like.
They're getting back in the limo.
They're just getting in the limo to I hope you're taking them to a hospital.
Yeah, because I mean, Bruce Willis at the end of that was fucked.
Yeah,
he was like covered in cuts.
That's also another thing that I kind of forgot. Like, it's like, wow, dude, he gets fucked up in this movie. He's like grazed with bullets. He actually shot. Like, needs to get stitches in one of his foot. Like, that was like another probably like burns from like everywhere. Like,
that was the cool thing about it too, is him actually getting like battle damage, not like being perfect through this entire scenario. You know, it's like, no, you didn't have a couple boo boos at this point. Like, well, even like his tank top got like disgusting from like crawling around. Like, it actually looked like he was having quite the night.
It's
you
like
know,
attention to detail like that makes some movies just like that awesome and more important. Like, a lot of action movies, like I'm thinking there's a Terminator Genesis, I think. Like, the big explosion happens and Emilia Clarke still like looks perfect, like makeup.
That's where she plays like Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, that was not very good.
I heard that movie just wasn't very good.
It's not.
And like John Connor's like a robot.
Yeah,
he's a Terminator.
I don't remember that necessarily. Anywho, but yeah,
that's another series that should have just stopped.
No, 100%. All right, so we've kind of like already agreed that it is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. I would love this to start a chain. So when you are done listening to this, go ahead and comment on our Instagram or something.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get like a head count of yay or just say yay or nay if it's a Christmas movie or not. Yay it is, nay it's not.
Yeah.
Rating?
Mogwai? I mean, it's
Gizmo.
It's a Gizmo. It's a damn good movie.
Rambo Gizmo because it's an action movie.
No, because it's not a Rambo. Because it's not like Rambo. It's an action movie, but it's not like Rambo.
I know. I just think he's so cute with his little bandana.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, this is definitely
a Mogwai.
I would give it Gizmo.
Gizmo, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I mean, as a Christmas movie, where do you rate it?
I don't.
I just wanted to.
I don't really feel like it's a Christmas movie. Like, I don't know. And it's like everything you're saying is true, and then I do not have the intelligence to try to explain what we're doing here. Sorry, Marlon Brando. That's good. I've always wanted to do a techno song with that being like the intro and then
that'd be
like
cool.
The drop, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's one of those. I don't. It's not a. Okay, there we go. For my tradition in my household, this is not a Christmas movie for me. This is a watch whenever kind of movie. This isn't like Love Actually. I watch every Christmas season. I watch Love Actually, and I only watch it during what?
It's the post scene, or that card scene.
The card scene
with Andrew Lincoln.
Oh God.
Yeah.
fuck. That's the only storyline that I'm like, this is just fuck off. A lot
of body shaming too.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Ooh. You want me to point out some more things?
No, don't ruin my Christmas movie. Now I'm gonna watch it and be like, fuck. Well,
I mean, you were already gonna get that anyway. But yeah, I mean, no, I see what you mean. Like, and I guess like from my household, this is a Christmas movie.
And
more,
I really think that that's just what it's like. It's you want to make it a tradition, make it a tradition.
Yeah,
it's just not for me. And it's like the only way I think it really would if there was a lot more like decorations, like if it actually felt like Christmas time. But also growing up in LA too, I find Christmas time is hard.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. Like, since you grew up in LA, it's like, I mean, because like a lot of people are going to associate Christmas immediately with like, you know, snow and shit like that, pine tree and whatnot. But like, you don't have that traditional sense of Christmas in LA. You have to create it.
Yeah, I mean, there's that whole big. I can't remember where it is. That's a big strip of all those houses that go like to the nines with the Christmas lights. That you like the tourist thing. Not a tourist thing, but you would drive.
Yeah,
through.
but it's not in the city.
No,
it's like, how do you turn the city? How do you turn LA City into Christmas?
I don't know. I mean, that was like the most distracting thing when we went to Universal Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
whatever the fuck. Not Diagon Alley. What's the other one? The town.
Remember. I can't remember.
You know,
Pottermore. That's the website.
No, but you know the town that they go to that has like the bar and shit. Anyways, they have like that instead. Like, you know, Diagon Alleys in Florida. We have like the other one, and it's all like these snowy like little shacks in town, ship whatever. But it's like fucking 98 degrees and like sunny California.
You're like in fucking shorts and tank top,
it's like this
sandals,
weird, it's like this weird
sunglasses. Hey, what's up?
It's like this weird illusion this weird illusion that just doesn't stick, you know, entirely. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't feel super Christmassy to me, but
yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I enjoy it. And I don't care if you think it is.
I mean, I don't really care either.
Well, I meant like the general you. If this is a Christmas movie to you, it's cool. That's great. That's awesome. Good for you. Like,
for some people, it's their favorite movie.
Yeah, I'm like,
which
cool.
is fine.
That's fine. Do your thing.
You
want to tell me what we're doing next week?
Yeah, next week.
Because I don't remember.
Next week we're actually going into more traditional, and we'll kind of like, you know, we'll talk. We'll do a little like compare and contrast type thing of like Christmas movie idea maybe. But it's the Family Stone.
Oh, we're doing Family Stone next.
We're doing Family Stone next week.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're ending this with The Holiday, if I remember correctly.
Ending with Holiday. Cool. So we're going to do Family Stone, and then the following week Gremlins, and then The Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I do love Family Stone. God, I can't wait to cry.
If I don't cry, I'm going to be mad. All right, guys. I think that's all we got for you.
Like, subscribe. Send us a comment what you think.
Yay or nay? Christmas movie. Yay or nay?
I'm gonna get a tally, and we can come back next week and talk
about it. Ho or
ha?
No, that doesn't. Yeah.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.